A simple lifestyle is one where you emphasize intentionality, minimalism, and focus on what you value, what brings purpose to your life. And I recently went on holiday. I spent a week in a caravan. I went with family. It was a great holiday. And what I found was that being in the caravan, it forced me to slow down. It forced me to take time away from the business of life, to slow down and take time to think and to reflect. It also forces you to live a lifestyle with less items. You know, caravans are small spaces. You can't just take everything you want. And it forces us, or forced us as a family, to be mindful of what we took and only to take what we truly wanted to take, what brought us value. But that's what a caravan did for us. It forced us to focus on what mattered, and it kind of made us be intentional with our time as well. And obviously, when you have more time, you kind of feel a bit lost at first, especially if you're used to the hustle and bustle of a busy lifestyle. But being in the caravan forced us to slow down and to live that simple lifestyle, which is quite worrying because that's the kind of lifestyle we want anyway. It's not like we need to be forced to have a simple lifestyle. That's the lifestyle we want as a family. And although we're trying to incorporate that into our lives, it is quite challenging and difficult for multiple reasons. But I just want to talk now about being in a caravan, living that simple life, and different aspects that came to mind as we were there over. So if you're going to spend time in a caravan, caravans are not huge. There's not a lot of space in caravans, and therefore you have to be minimalistic in your approach to what you take. And you also have to travel to the caravan as well. And in general, when you travel, you have to be mindful of size of items, what items you're taking. You can't take too much. You can't fit everything in, is the point. You are forced to be minimalistic. Not a problem for me. I'm already a minimalist anyway. So for me, this wasn't much of an issue. But even then, it did force me to think deeper about the items that I have in my life. In general, when you're packing, when you're on holiday, you realize you don't need as much as what you thought you need. And therefore, you start to look at what items could potentially go, what items are not big in value, not bringing meaning in your life, don't add a sense of purpose and value. You start to reflect on that. I brought back clothes that I didn't wear. There was a couple of items that I didn't actually use. And it just forced you to be more mindful of all of the items that you have in your life and to reflect on that. Not only that, it comes down to portability as well. When you're traveling, you've got to be mindful of, you can't simply take the big bulky camera with a big bulky stand. Right now I'm recording this on my phone. I've got a stand that is portable and it folds away. It's a great stand and it's portable. It's great. It does what I need it to do. It functions and it's portable as well. It's not big, it's not bulky, it doesn't weigh much. You start to think in them terms as well. So portability becomes important. And then functionality, it forces you to think in a more functional sense. If I can buy one item that does 5 different tasks, that's great. As long as it does those tasks well. There's no good having an item that does 5 different things, but it does the 5 different tasks poorly. That's just no good. It needs to do the 5 different tasks very well, or to a high standard, or in a quality sense. So it does force you to be more mindful of why you're taking items, why you have these items, and it does make you think about, does it actually bring value? Does it bring purpose to my life? Does it help me in my mission? Do I actually need this? Am I actually going to use this? It does make you be more of a minimalist, and obviously you can't just fill the caravan with everything because it doesn't become a nice place to be if it's cluttered, and therefore you really are in a place where you think, well, this does not bring me into my life. I'm not taking it because I've got to travel and then I've got to spend time in a small space. Life in general for me, in personal life and in business and work, it's just hectic. It's always busy. It's 100 miles an hour. It never slows down. It never calms down. And yet, despite always being busy, I don't feel like I get much done. I don't feel like I achieve much in my life. I feel like a lot of it is nonsense. A lot of it is excess that needs to be removed. Obviously, when you work in a corporation, you know, you're burdened with all the administration side of things, all the nonsense that doesn't really need to be there, but because big corporations like to control everything, that all gets placed on you. So it feels like you're rushing around like a headless chicken. You never stop, but you don't achieve much. And going to the caravan, I just felt like it slowed me down a little bit. Well, not a little bit, that's an understatement. It completely slowed me down. It introduced me to this slower pace of life. And that's a life I want. I don't like being stressed and running around all the time and getting nothing done. I've not got a problem with being busy and doing work, but this hectic, constant busyness with no time to slow down, it's not healthy. And I was able to take time to think, to reflect, to be still, and just allow my mind to process. That was something I really valued, and it was something that was really helpful to me at that time. And honestly, I just really want to bring that and incorporate that into my life now. But the caravan really did slow me down. And with that, I find that when I'm living a slower paced life, I'm more productive. I get more tasks done. I'm more creative. And it also forces me to be intentional with my decisions. I can slow down. I can take time to think and reflect. Well, actually, doing X does not bring value to my life. It doesn't add purpose. It doesn't help me on my mission and achieving what I want to achieve. Because you're constantly busy and running around, you haven't got that time to think and reflect. And I just didn't have the time to make intentional decisions and choices. I'd love to spend more time in nature, but I'm so busy in my private life and my work life that making that intentional choice just doesn't happen. You end up sacrificing that because I'm trying to work on the side hustle. I can't be in nature more because I have to work in a stupid cubicle in a 9-to-5 job. All of a sudden, I'm slowing down. I'm not as busy. I'm not as rushed around. I can be more thoughtful. I can process. I can think, reflect, and I can make more choices that are intentional, that line up with who I am, with my values, with my purpose, with my goals. And that was something that in the caravan you're kind of forced to do. And as I said, I find that in that calm environment, I make better decisions. I'm more productive. I'm more creative. And for me, the caravan really slowed me down. You cannot rush around the caravan, because if you do, I guarantee you'll stump your toe, you'll bang your kneecap on a table. You can't rush around the caravan. You do slow down, and obviously you're able to make better choices that align with who you are. And again, following on from making intentional decisions, I found that there was a lot less distractions during my time there. Again, because you're packing intentionally, you're not bringing everything with you, you end up in this position where you've not got all the distractions of the items in your house, you've not got all the distractions of the corporate office or the home life. I don't have this problem yet, but for some parents, they're constantly out here, there, and everywhere, dropping kids off at 20 different clubs a week, and it just adds this huge layer of stress. Whereas being in a caravan, you're away from all that nonsense that you probably don't even value in life anyway, and there's just a lot less distractions. And because you're living that slower paced life, you're making more intentional decisions, there's less distractions, you're more likely to do things that bring meaning to your life. So you're more likely to sit down, as I said, think and reflect. You're maybe more likely to sit down and read that book that you've wanted to read. And you're just in a better position to unplug from the stress and the busyness of life. Fewer distractions means you're more intentional with your time, you're more likely to focus on what's important to you. And you know what? That might just be sitting down, lying in the sun, and just taking a few breaths. Crying out loud. Sometimes we just need to stop and take one big, deep breath. So yeah, just having fewer distractions allows us to be more focused. I hate that word more in front of things, but we like to think that we're focused. I'm focused, but you're not. And when we go on holiday, we think we're more focused. No, you weren't focused in the first place. So no, I wasn't more focused. I was able to be focused on what was important to me. That's the key right there. So less distractions, better focus. Caravans, you can't take all your stuff. You've not got 20 different news channels anyway, so you can't get distracted by that. You're not distracted by the corporate nonsense and the corporate politics. All those distractions go away. It's great, and it just puts you in a position where you can be more intentional. It's great. And you're also able to spend more time with family, building deeper relationships and spending time with them, being able to go out for walks and have fun, to relax and unwind. Being in a caravan may put you in a position where you're living a simplistic lifestyle. It may kind of force you. When you're traveling, you're kind of forced to as well. But simplicity isn't a place. Living a simple lifestyle isn't confined to me traveling. It isn't confined to me being in the caravan. Simplicity isn't a place, it's a mindset, it's a lifestyle. You could even argue that it's a philosophy, it's a way of living. And when I've been to other countries in the past, such as Greece, for example, again, they live this simplistic lifestyle. It's a slower paced lifestyle. If you go to Jamaica, the same thing there. I remember the guy saying to me, in Jamaica, we don't have problems, we just have situations. You know, their attitude and approach to life is a slower paced one. Oh, there's a problem. It's no problem. It's their attitude, their mentality, the way they live. It's a simple lifestyle. And as a result, it has a huge impact on their entire approach to life. It's great. I love it. I absolutely love being in Jamaica. I love being in Greece. The people there are absolutely amazing. But their mentality is a simplistic lifestyle. And I vibe with that. It's great. It's fantastic. I enjoy being around the people in both of those nations. Other examples would be, I've been told, Indonesia and Thailand. Again, simplistic lifestyle. That's the way they want to live. And for me, I really resonate with that. And what that means is, and this is a good thing, is that I'm not confined to going to live in any of those countries to live a simplistic lifestyle. It'd be nice to go and live in those countries, long-term dreams and ambitions. I don't have to be in a caravan to live a simplistic lifestyle. I can bring that lifestyle to my life now. Now, I already do in some regards because I'm quite minimalistic, but other aspects such as the constant stress and business of life. Why can't I slow my life down now? I could do that. I could bring that into my life. Why can't I build deeper relationships now in my life here in the present? You know, we're constantly, and I'm guilty of this, we're constantly thinking of the future. We're constantly saying, well, if I work on this side hustle now, and maybe in 5 years, emphasis on the maybe, I can then slow down. The problem is in 5 years, you probably won't slow down. Even if you build a successful side hustle, you'll keep going. That's the first thing. The myth that I will do this in the future if I achieve this doesn't happen, because you'll find something else that you need to achieve, another goal that you need to hit, and you'll be just as busy as ever before. But we should be striving to bring aspects of the lifestyle we wish to live into our current lives now. We are guaranteed now in the present as I'm recording this. I am not guaranteed tomorrow. And therefore, I'm not saying we should postpone and prioritize thinking about the future and planning for the future, but we also need to be mindful that we need to live right now here in the present, because this is the point in life where we are most alive, and it's the only time that we're guaranteed. So for me, that lifestyle, I want to bring and incorporate that into my life in the here, in the now, and start living the life that I want, living the lifestyle that I want now, and having that mindset of it as well. I think that's very important. So start bringing the aspects of life that you want to live into your life now. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to live that simplistic lifestyle here and now. And whatever lifestyle you want to live, you need to start thinking, how do I live that life now? It's no good just thinking for the future, although, as I said, that is important. You do need to be mindful and be thinking of, how can I live the life that I want now? I'm not likely to move to Greece, to Jamaica, to Thailand or Indonesia or anywhere else tomorrow. It's not probably going to happen next week or next year. It's something that's in the future. But what I can start living now is living the lifestyle that I want here and now in the present. And I think that's something that everyone needs to start doing. I'm certainly guilty of not doing it, and therefore taking that time to reflect, which involves slowing down and being intentional, it's forced me to think, no, this is something I need to do in the here and now. And I think that's something that everyone should be considering and thinking, how can I do the same? Living the lifestyle that I want to live now. Hope you found that helpful. Take care and see you in the next video.